When we think of NASCAR drivers, generally a couple names come to mind, like Dale Earnhardt Sr., Richard Petty, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, just to name a few. These were considered some of the best to ever do it. However, this series is dedicated to the drivers that I don't want you to forget about that were still pretty darn good at what they did. Maybe they didn't win championships or have as flashy of careers, but they were still pretty darn good behind the wheel. And today's NASCAR driver I don't want you to forget about is Sterling Marlin. Sterling Marlin raced for 33 years in NASCAR and competed in over 740 races, starting in 1976 at Nashville Speedway and ending in 2009 at Martinsville Speedway. In 1983, Sterling Marlin was hired by Roger Hamby to drive that number 17 car you see above me, and he would actually finish 19th in the points and win Rookie of the Year in 1983. Marlin's first full-time Cup ride wouldn't come until 1987, racing the Piedmont Airlines number 44, owned by Billy Hagan, and he would actually finish 11th in the points that season. So after a couple seasons driving for Billy Hagan, he actually did really well, but would move up, I would call it, to Junior Johnson's ride in the number 22 Maxwell House Thunderbird, where the 91 and 92 seasons would be solid as well, finishing 10th, I believe, in points both of those years. In 1994, Sterling would swap rides again over to the Morgan McClure number 4 Kodak car, a very recognizable machine if you were a fan of NASCAR in the 90s, and he would actually pick up his first win in 1994 at the Daytona 500, which is pretty freaking cool. What a place to get your first win at. In 1995, he would actually become one of the few to ever do this. He won back-to-back Daytona 500s. I believe there's 4 guys that have done this. Richard Petty, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, to name a few, have done this, but another solid season in 1995, finishing 3rd in the points and winning quite a few races that year. Throughout the 90s, Sterling would swap rides again a couple times, ending up in the Sabco number 40 Coors Light machine in 2000. And then that would get bought out by Chip Ganassi Racing, taken over by Dodge, and we wound up with one of the coolest paint schemes in NASCAR history, in my opinion, the Silver Bullet, the number 40 Coors Light Dodge. 2001 was one of the worst and the best seasons for Sterling. He was involved with Dale Earnhardt's crash in the 2001 Daytona 500, getting blamed for it and all sorts of other stuff. If you want to know more, go to Dale Jr. Download episode with Sterling Marlin. Find out everything you want to know. It was also one of the best seasons for him, finishing 3rd again in the points, winning 3 races, and he was neck to neck with Jeff for the championship for a lot of that season. In 2002, Sterling would get his last win, and he was actually dominant that year, leading the points for 24 races up until Kansas late in the season, where he would get in a terrible wreck and end up cracking some vertebrae in his neck, changing the course of his career. After that accident, Sterling really wasn't the same, and he would actually end up hanging up his helmet in 2009. Marlin would finish his career with 10 wins, 216 top 10s, and be named one of NASCAR's 75 greatest drivers in 2023.